Hi everyone.
Happy Wednesday. We are going to wait just a few minutes and let you hop on with us here.
If you hop on, let us know where you're watching from. Say hi. There we go.
There they are.
Hi everybody. We have a little bit of Arizona, Washington, Georgia, South Dakota.
Very good group
North
with
Dakota.
us. Colorado.
Coming in fast now.
Perfect.
All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have a special guest with us today. Dr. Laura Green's with us, and she's going to talk about the Sure microchip pet feeder and how it can help you manage your pet's diets.
Please be sure to put any questions that you have in the comments. She is here to answer all those for you. Or just tell us hi. At the end of this segment, one lucky viewer is going to win one of these Sure Feed and the hub. All that. So a really awesome prize, as you can see. So get those questions and comments in there. And with that, we're going to turn it over to you, Dr. Green.
All right, thank you so much. Again, my name is Laura Green. I am a professional services veterinarian and internal medicine specialist with Merck Animal Health, and I am very grateful for the opportunity to be here chatting with you all today and to talk with you about Sure PetCare's Sure Feed Microchip Pet Feeder Connect. I think it's really helpful to kind of start off with just who is Sure PetCare. What is that all about? So Sure PetCare, which is a part of Merck Animal Health, is a portfolio of smart, app-connected pet products that are designed for dog and cat owners who think of their pets as family and want to be able to really optimize that bond and being able to communicate with and understand what's going on with their pets as family members. So within the Sure PetCare ecosystem, if you will, are a number of technology-enabled devices that are capable of learning and tracking your pet's behavior over time. So for example, how much water is your pet drinking? Are they drinking more or less than they were? The comings and goings of your pet, how active they are they less active than they have been? Or in the case of what we're particularly going to talk about today, their eating habits. And so I think that one of the things that this helps us to do, and what Sure PetCare's goal is, to be able to say, I wish my pet could talk to me. I wish my pet could tell me more about what's going on with them. All of these devices are designed to help our pets communicate with us better, to learn their normal behaviors better. So without further ado, I'm going to talk today about the SureFeed Microchip Pet Feeder Connect. So right there in the name, one of the first things you hear is the microchip part of that, the Microchip Pet Feeder Connect. So all of the feeders are capable of being assigned to and recognizing the unique microchip that your pet can have. And let me stop right there and say first off too that I strongly recommend microchips for pets. It's such an important safeguard against that day when they slip out the door, when you didn't think that they were going to be quite that speedy, or if you're like me, you've got a backyard fence where you thought the rails were close enough together that they couldn't quite get through. but they can. And you just don't know when those things are going to happen. And a microchip is such an important way for veterinarians and shelters and rescues to be able to reunite you with your pet. So certainly strongly recommend microchips. With regards to the Sure Feed, it is going to be able to recognize an individual pet in your household by that microchip. And this smart food bowl, then you can see that there's the food bowl, and it's got this lid over it that keeps it isolated until the individual to which this feeder is assigned comes up. And when they do, and it recognizes that microchip, it's going to open. That individual pet can eat to their heart's desire. And then when they walk away, it's going to close back down again. So at its most basic, when we're just talking about that functionality of it, this is a fantastic way for multi-pet households to prevent food stealing. So if you have individual pets that are on prescription diets, you've got a couple of pets who are on a maintenance diet, a couple of pets, maybe one that's on a hypoallergenic diet or a special medical needs, a kidney diet, something like that. This is going to allow you to feed each pet separately. Each pet can have a feeder. That feeder is only going to recognize that one pet, that one microchip. It's only going to allow that pet to eat this food. So that's kind of at its most basic, but where I think this product really comes into its own from the standpoint of being able to help us to help our pets, to learn more about them, is when you connect the feeder with the hub. So this is the hub with its very cute little cat ears. This plugs directly into your wireless router, and it serves kind of as the brains of the Sure PetCare ecosystem. So whichever devices you have, let's say you have 2 or 3 of these feeders because you have 2 or 3 cats, they are all going to be able to transmit their information into the hub, and then the hub is going to be able to transmit that information into an app on your phone. So what kind of information are we talking about? What am I going to learn from being able to see this? Well, for each individual pet in my home, I'm going to learn when they like to go to their feeder. Do they eat everything all at once, or do I have grazers? And if they are grazers, how much are they eating at a given time? If I put down a set amount of food, do they always eat all of it? Or are they only eating 75%? Is that their normal for them? More importantly than that, it is going to let you track that information over time. So as just an example, if I say I have a cat in my household named Boots, and Boots always eats 75% of everything that I put down, kind of grazing over the course of the day, and I see that total amount, and then of a day I see he only ate 50%, then I can say, well, wait a minute, why did he only eat 50% there? And that's such a hard thing to pick up on if you don't have the individually assigned feeders that nobody else is stealing from, right? Because if Boots doesn't finish all of the food in an open bowl and Mittens comes along right afterwards and steals all the rest of that food, it's hard to know that actually Boots isn't eating as much as he normally would. So incredibly helpful from the standpoint of being able to monitor, are your pets all eating what they need to be eating, and are they eating it to their completion, to the amount that is normal for that individual cat, learning those individual behaviors. So something else that I think is really helpful with having the Sure feeder is for our pets that are perhaps a little bit overweight. And we know, especially again for cats, obesity is a tough problem. It's a difficult one. It's a concerning one. Obesity increases the risk of diabetes, of developing diabetes, increases the risk of orthopedic problems. And one of the best ways that we can make sure that we are helping to monitor our pets' weight is to feed them very precise portions, essentially to say, I know how much I'm going to feed today, and that's going to be the same every single day. But as an example, this is a half cup of food. When I fill this half cup of food, I usually level it off a little bit more. But when other members of my household, like for example, my 4-year-old is helping to feed, he likes to get a big old generous scoop. And he says, but mommy, I've got this nice, scoop of food. And he puts that in, and that can actually be a lot of extra calories there. But what the Connect does, when it communicates through the hub and into the app on your phone, allows you to do is to set a precise volume that you want to feed. So for the pet feeder, when I'm ready to feed, I'm going to open it up and it's going to be ready there. And as I start to add the kibble in here, and I know it's a little bit hard to see, you're actually going to have these lights right here at the bottom lighting up. And see how they're green? Actually, I think I got it just about perfect because they're green almost all the way across. They do a little bit better when you're not holding this up in the air and allowing it to kind of bounce around. But when the green lights are green all the way across, I know that I've put in exactly 60 grams. That's the amount of food that I want to feed. And whether it's me doing the feeding or anyone else in my household, including my 4-year-old, it's very easy for them to see as soon as those green lights are all the way across, that's it. That's all the food we need. We don't need any more. And you can see, like, that's still a lot of food left here in this half cup measure that someone might have said, oh, well, I always feed a half cup. If you overfeed, no worries. It's going to tell you that too. If you put this right in here, you can see then that it's going to actually start giving you some red lights saying, whoa, we've got too much food in there. There are those red lights. And all you have to do is take that amount of food back out. And then you can close this back up and they're ready to be able to access it with their microchip. And you'll be able to know how much they're actually eating. Other things that I think come up a lot with this, we know that cats are not the most fond of new things in their environment. Sometimes introducing a new feeding system or a new bowl can be something where the cat says, oh, I'm not sure how I feel about that. So this actually has a training mode on it so that your cat can very comfortably get used to it over time. I'm going to try to turn it this way so hopefully you guys can kind of see this. But at first, when you put it into training mode, it is just going to be open. It's not going to move. It's not going to make sounds. It's not going to do anything else scary. And the goal is just to allow your cat to be acclimated to this, to say, I can approach this. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing scary to it. And once they are well adjusted to that, they're comfortable with that, you can move it to the next part of the training mode. I don't know if you even saw that. It was just the tiniest little motion forward so that now when they approach, it's just going to do the slightest little motion. So they kind of get used to the idea of, oh, every time I approach this, there's going to be this tiny, tiny motion. Then you can move it to the next stage that's still really open. I can still reach in here and get to the kibble. So it's not isolated. You can still have food stealers right now. But when your pet approaches it, it's going to be more like what they would normally experience. It's going to move back to that kind of halfway point, and then all the way out to the furthest part of the training mode, and then all the way to closed. So you're able to allow your cat to adjust to this over time, to be able to get the idea of how to be comfortable with it. I have in here right now, if I get this off of my training mode, I have this in here right now in just a stainless steel bowl, but you can customize this for your individuals. So you can see here I have this blue mat in, but comes in a number of different colors for the individuals in your household. There are single bowls that have individual compartments. So this is still going to measure this as one bowl. So if you said 60 grams of food, yes, they're separate, but it's just going to tell you total weight. But let's say you're feeding both dry and wet food and you want to be able to feed those separately, but to that one individual cat. You can actually change this out to have 2 separate bowls, and they are each weighed individually. So you can put the dry food in here and the wet food in here. You can, again, program it on your app to say, I want to feed this many grams of wet food, this many grams of dry food. And when your assigned pet goes to that feeder and eats, it's going to tell you how much wet food did they eat or how much dry food did they eat at that time, and kind of get you an idea of being able to keep track of that. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's actually kind of a soft seal on this right here. And that fits right up against that lid. So it keeps the food fresher for a bit longer, which is also just kind of a nice thing to have there. And those are kind of the best points, I think, from this. Again, you can see it's battery operated. It uses C batteries that'll last up to about 6 months, and you can put this anywhere in your home that your Wi-Fi signal goes. So again, that hub is connected through your router, but as long as you have your Wi-Fi there, this is going to be able to send the information to the hub. So you can make sure to put this in the space that is most comfortable for your individual pet. So I think that was a fair amount of information, and I'm absolutely delighted to get into some questions here. What questions can I answer for you all?
Well, we actually had a few ask about the microchips and if you can use a current microchip that's already in your pet.
Yes, absolutely. You do not need to put in an individually new microchip. These work with all of the microchips. I advocate for home again microchips based on the fact that they don't migrate, and you do want that chip to be up here where it's going to be recognized by the feeder. But they will work with any of the microchips that are out there. So as long as your pet already has a microchip, they are good to go.
Yep.
I think, can you go over, so it works with cats, does it work with dogs? What size of animals and stuff like that? I know we have a few questions about different kind of dogs and stuff like that, so.
Yes, absolutely. So this is designed, and it's one of the easiest ways to kind of see that is to be able to look at it up here. So this is designed, I've still got it in my little training mode here. Here we go, there we are. All right, with wanting to read that microchip within this space. And so typically you're going to think of cats and small dogs. If you have a cat-sized dog, this is gonna work really well. But what it is ultimately doing is reading that microchip as it is right here. So if you imagine that you have a much bigger dog where that microchip is way back up here, it's not necessarily going to read that. So cats and small dogs in mind, but at that point, yes, you can certainly use it for dogs as well.
Kathleen asked if it would work for her barn cat. Can you set this up in a barn or a shed outside if there's Wi-Fi access?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, as long as it is a nice sheltered environment with that Wi-Fi, then yes, absolutely, you can set it up there.
Here's one. Melinda had asked, is it possible for the feeder to recognize and respond to more than one pet, or do you have to purchase one for every pet?
Yeah, so ideally you are going to have one pet assigned to one device. That's going to be that works. And of course, if you have a pet that you want them to eat that specific diet and you don't want anyone else to have access to it, you could still have another separate just free-fed bowl, but of course the individual assigned to this feeder is going to be able to access that community bowl as well. So the only purpose at that point would be if you wanted to make sure that you've got 4 cats and you want one of them to be able to get to this, and you want to make sure that the other 3 never do. That would be a way that would work, where you wouldn't have a feeder for each individual member of your house.
Donna asked, since it's Wi-Fi, how would it be affected if you lose internet during a storm?
Yeah. So from the standpoint of, is it going to work? Is it still going to allow your pet to come up and feed? Yes, absolutely. It is going to be able to, it's not going to stop letting your pet in because we've lost power. For the period of time that you don't have power, that you don't have that Wi-Fi, it's not going to be able to transmit that information to the app on your phone. So if the pets are in your household are eating during that time, you might lose that information just for that period of time. They are still going to be able to eat.
We have a lot of people wondering if this is made for humans as well.
not to my knowledge. but I mean, if you think about it from the standpoint that a lot of people do like to weigh out, when you're being very precise about what you're eating, and you're going to weigh out portion sizes. It's absolutely the same concept for being very exact about those portion sizes. And we know that that's important. That is a healthy thing to do. I love that question.
Andrew had asked about the price. So what is the price point of the hub and the pet feeder?
Yes, so the hub is $84, and one hub can connect to up to 10 devices. So if you've got 4 cats and they each have a feeder, you still got 6 more spaces to go before you run out of room on the hub. So the hub is 84. The individual feeders are 207.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about how easy they are to clean, or best practice for cleaning?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So, I already took this out. So the button on the back here is what is going to allow you to open and close this for when you're feeding or cleaning or whatever else you're needing to access everything for. So, of course, the bowls, again, like this is a nice stainless steel bowl that to be cleaned. For the inside of this is the weighing scale part, and it just pops out. It's magnetic right there. And then you can kind of see on the inside of this, but you can actually flip it all the way over and be able to take this off as well. So you can really get in there. So if you have little bits and pieces of food that are falling down into there, you're going to be able to clean all of that up really easily. And then that just snaps back there, and you're able to put this back in. Again, it's magnetic, so that snaps there. And then you can actually even take this part, the lid, off. It's got, it's going to be a little hard to see here, but it's got this little lock part right there. So you can unlock it, and then this just comes right off. So you can give this a nice good scrub, and of course, be able to wipe down this part right here. Of course, you cannot submerge the entire thing. Certainly don't do that, but you can be able to give this a good wipe. This was the little individual pad here that obviously you can clean that as well. So really pretty easy to be able to take apart and to clean as well.
Candace had asked if it is portable enough to travel with.
I guess it depends on how you're traveling. It's not too heavy as these things go, and from a size standpoint, I don't know, try and give the kind of some idea of sort of the size that you're talking about there for how far it is that way, and kind of how far up my arm it goes. So in a car, absolutely, I would say I could definitely travel with this. If I'm going to fly with it, it'd probably be a little bit hard to do that, but generally pretty portable, I think.
Make sure we covered everything here. Had a few people comment that they need one for their horses as well.
Fluffy mare.
We'll have to upsize a bit for that.
A little bit, yeah. Some comments about cats with allergies and having to feed them special foods.
Yeah, I think big, really, that can be so impossible, especially because cats love to graze. And I think that's one of the reasons that I get really excited about this, is because I've talked to pet owners before, and I've said, your cat with inflammatory bowel disease or other food allergies really needs to eat this and nothing else. You either can't let them get a hold of your younger cat's maintenance diet. And that's so hard because they want to graze. They're not just all, it's not like you say, oh, sure, first thing in the morning, but close everybody in the separate spaces, let them eat, they're all done, and that's it. They like to graze. And this allows that kind of grazing, so that they still, can't access each other's food, and can be so important for those cases.
All right. I think we've answered all the questions that have been asked today. Oh wait, we may have some more.
Very handy with multiple cats.
Yes, very handy.
I think. just comments.
Great comments.
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Green, did you have anything else that you would like to add before we draw a winner today?
Oh, I'm so excited for you guys to draw a winner. I can't wait. I think we covered kind of all of my big favorite points for this. I mean, I think anything that we can do to help us to be able to learn more about our pets' normal behaviors gives us that early warning sign when something changes. And from a medical standpoint, that's one of the biggest ones for me. I love that I can portion out the food, and I love that I can keep track of how much everyone is eating, and I get that first sign when something's off. And maybe I don't necessarily need to panic because an individual ate 25% less than they normally do, but it gives me that red flag. It gives me that alert so that I kind of pay more attention, and I say, well, where is Mittens right this second? Like, is she hiding and she normally wouldn't be at this time of the day? Do I want to pay more attention? Do I want to look in tomorrow to see exactly how much they're eating? And then what's really valuable is that for owners who have all of this information on the app, on their phone, they can just bring that in to the veterinarian. So when the veterinarian looks at them and says, well, how much has Mittens been eating lately? You can say, it's all right here. I have the data exactly for when she's been eating, how much she's been eating, when everything changed, what her normal is. That's just so valuable. So if I were going to pick my favorite aspects, those are the big ones. And again, happy to answer any more questions, or you just get into drawing a winner. So exciting.
All right. Well, if you do have more questions, please don't be afraid to put those in the comments, because we will get back around to those eventually. And this video will be on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. So don't be shy. Keep asking questions if you have them. All right. One lucky winner is going to get a Sure Pet feeder and the hub. An awesome prize.
All right. So today's winner is Donna Haynes.
Yay! Congratulations. All right. Dr. Green, we want to thank you so much for joining us, for telling us all about the product, for answering all these questions, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful.
Before we hop off here, we have a couple things that we want to go over. Don't forget, we have our Spraymaster Spectacular still going on. You have until June 24th, so get entered in that. We also had another giveaway start this week, and I don't have my printout, but it's the Classic Cash giveaway. That goes until July 1st, so I will share some links with you, but get entered in that as well.
Definitely. And join us again next Wednesday. We're going to be live again, so we will see you all then. Bye, everybody.